Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital Channel. I'm Michael Chu, and this is uh, I'm going to talk about the top stocks for this week ending October 11, 2024. Sorry that this video will be coming out later on Sunday, so probably, but anyhow, for this week, I'm trying to look at groups or stocks that are kind of setting up rather than being extended. There's lots of leading stocks that have been running for quite a while now, for probably since September, like second week of September. So the rally has been running pretty strong for the last month, and right now we are going into earnings season. So the next 3 weeks are going to have lots of stocks reporting their earnings and providing guidance. So we're going to see lots of volatility. It's going to be quite risky getting into any stock at this moment just because it could go either way. And I feel like because some stocks have already run up quite a bit, it will be much more riskier if they miss their guidance or earnings, right? So from that being said, I want to focus more on what groups are still turning up or at least still leading, and maybe maybe there's some setups for some stocks that are could run after the earnings. So I typically will buy. I rather buy usually higher for initial position, even after the earnings rather than before the earnings, just because of risk management. And for me, I focus a lot on risk management. When it comes to trading, it's not so much like how much you can make, but more about how much you can lose. And if you manage those risks, then over the long term, you will do a lot better. Um, so yeah, with that being said, let's jump into this spreadsheet here. Um, what we have here is the sectors and the industry groups right here, and this is sorted by how many stocks are being accumulated or distributed by end of Friday. And A stands for accumulation, and then we have the symbols here. And then the number percent is just to represent like how far it is from the 10-day simple moving average. Usually, I only use that number just to see like how far is off the 10-day. And if you look at the chart, you can kind of tell how far it's away. When it's too far away from the 10-day, it's quite extended. If it's closer, it's a better entry point and so forth, right? But what I want to show you here is just like, what groups did well by end of Friday this week. And financial did really well on Friday. And that was the reason why the market was very strong on Friday. We closed out the week like, making new highs on S&P and Dow. So let's take a look at the financials first. We have financial investment management, and some of the more pronounced stock that I have on my top stock list are FTAI, POWL, ARES, EQAH, and KKR. So that's one group. Then we have financial service specialty, and we have FI, MRX here, TW, SEZL, and C1 that I follow. And then we have finance investment bankers and brokers. So you have Robinhood and Interactive Broker, LAS, RJF, SF, and FUTU. So those are some of the few financial groups are doing really well this week. Then we have computer Sftwr-Enterprise. Um, the only ones that I follow are Net, RNG, Palantir, Now, and Shop. Um, I didn't follow anything on computer tech services. Um, and then we have leisure services. And yeah, the cruise line did really well, this week. RCL, NCLH, Viking, and then you also have Uber and Lyft in this group as well. And then we have biotech and some biotechs like WGS, HRO, ITCI, and MERM. So those are some of the few stocks on my list, on my top growth stock list. I'm not going to go through all these groups here. Generally, I look at around the top 10 or so because that's probably quite a bit to even look at. So this is my top growth stocks spreadsheet every week. Some people ask how do I get access to this? Basically, this is an internal tool that we have. We compile all the data and we spit out the spreadsheet. Yeah, so for those who hasn't seen this before, basically what we have here is the symbols right here, and then the performance on this column here. So this is performance since September 25th. So roughly, 3 weeks ago, roughly, and this is the performance that you're seeing. So WGS is like gained 62% since then. FUTU 47%. That's the Chinese stock. So they have done really well. But this week you can see it went into downtrend, which is usually means it's like usually below the 10-day short-term moving average, and yeah. So that's usually what this means. If it's above the short-term moving average, and um, it could be in an uptrend. So we're seeing quite a bit of like Chinese stocks which have been ranking really well recently because they've done really well. Like JD, it's in a downtrend. MNSO in a downtrend. PDD in the downtrend. You can see all these Chinese stock EDU, ATT, ATAT downtrend right here. So they have climbed a lot. Now they're pulling back. So the question is whether they will bounce back. So that's something to watch, if they could bounce back, and might be a entry position, or it could continue to go down. The Chinese market is very volatile, and so they can go up a lot, but they can also go down a lot. So be very careful about that. But you can see the Chinese stock do dominate a lot of the top lists here in terms of performance in recent weeks. And then we have the industry group and sector mentioned here. So that's how you can look at that. And then we have the highest date here. Highest date means like have it recently hit new high. And you can see WGS hit new high on October 11, like basically finishing the week off, hitting a new high, either intraday or near the closing. ALAB also did that. SIM also did that. CRDO, LB, CLS, POWL, HP, VYGR also did that, right? So there's quite a bit of stocks tend to continue to hit new highs in the top 15 here, and then you can see quite a bit down here as well, right? So you have Upstart, NCLH, we talk about the Carnival, NAMS, Palantir. So Palantir, has been a really hot stock that I've been watching for quite a while. Um, for those, just for your own information, I'm not holding much stocks right now. I do think there will be a pullback coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks right before election, and we did that in the market recap video that we also did this week. So go ahead and watch that video if you haven't. We did go back to 2016 and 2020 pre-election, 2 to 3 weeks before, and we noticed that there is a severe pullback. So I don't really want to be in that market right now. I want also the earnings season is coming up. Um, I love earnings season because it recalibrate all the stocks um, from a fundamental perspective, like the earnings number and so forth, and which I do follow quite a bit. Like I will study the numbers and see whether they should go onto my growth stock list and so forth. And I usually follow the earnings number. So for example, EPS change, Palantir, you can see is expected to grow 29% on earnings. And as you go down to the next few quarters, it's also expected to grow around that, like close to the 20% mark, which is really good. And you can see this is the market search tool that I'm using, and it shows this earnings line has been going up really nice, and hence the stock also have been doing really well, right? So that's the reason why I follow this number here. The sales usually I don't look at it as much, but as long as they're like positive and still improving, that's good enough for me. And then you can see this stock has gone up a lot from this base right here on this weekly chart. Very extended from the 50-day, um, and probably very extended from the short-term 10-day moving average as well. You see the green line here, that's the 10-day, and you can see it's quite far above right here. So probably the most extended since the beginning of this run, from this gap up right here. So we'll see. This is a very strong stock. Sometimes stocks top very crazy. Like you might see like a 1 day swing like of like 10%, stuff like that. Usually that's when it will brew up the top channel line like this, and that's when it's near the top or it has passed that channel line. That's usually a good sell signal for me. So anyhow, this is one of the strongest stocks. That's why I just that is still going, and it's just something to study. Um, so so then we have SMCIs, the Uber. Uber did really well because of the Tesla news, right? It kind of went opposite of Tesla because of what happened. Um, it, you know, because Tesla doesn't have a timeline to compete in the robo-taxi, then what they do is like, 2026, end of 2026, 27. Anyhow, it broke out on this, really high volume day on Friday. I didn't take a position. Again, um, October 31st is the earnings. It's in about two weeks or so. Um, right now I'm just more of a spectator, just watching the market right now. I'm very cautious again going into the election day, and we'll see what happens. Like, if it takes off and I'm not in it, I'm okay with it. But I'm very patient right now. I'm trying to be patient and just watch which stocks will lead the next rally. And that's what usually happen after the earnings. Like, some stocks will now take the lead. And some previous leaders will continue. They might pull back and then they'll continue their run. So I'm just watching that, patient. And this is a good stock to be on your watch list just to see. It has already broken out, but you never know if you come back and so forth. But again, not a bad number. Um, yeah. So we have BLTE, CCL, Coherent. This is a stock that many people follow. Net, Cloudflare. Now Cloudflare did really well this week. I'm not sure if there's any news, but yeah, it did really well. AGX, Building Heavy Construction, Generac, Groupon, CFLT, GGAL, YPF, HUD. We kind of mentioned HUD. So this group, is in the investment bank group, brokers group. Let's take a quick look at it. Again, we're in earnings season, so I'm more focused on the earnings line right now, just to see if how the number is going to do. This is high expectation of turning around. You can see the difference from current projection versus last year's number. It's much different, 300% difference, 400% difference in this coming 2 quarters. And look at how it just broke out right here from this cup and handle pattern. Very nice chart. Um, yeah, like, it definitely broke out already. Again, for me, it's just very hard to get into these stocks right now, just because like this one, it just blew by so fast. Look at how fast it went up right here. So anyhow, again, good stock to watch on your watch list if you haven't owned. I'm gonna make my trip. FTAI in the investment management. That's another strong group. QFIN in specialty group. Team SEZL again specialty financial service. SoFi in the finance. So lots of financial stocks kind of in the top list here, right? FANG, oil and gas, RMBS, semiconductor, HCI insurance, app living. So app living has been doing really well for a while. So look at this green line here. That's the earnings line. And look at these numbers right here, right? It's been growing like triple digit, and it's pretty high numbers here, and hence the stock has done so well. Like this is probably one of the most hidden gem. Now it's not even like small anymore. It's like almost 50 billion market cap. Look at this run from this breakout here on this weekly chart. It just really keep going, and it's quite extended now. So 60% profit here from this buy point. And look at how tight it's trading near the 10-day. Like it just doesn't want to touch it, and it's still going like an Energizer bunny. So again, this is a super stock right now. Um, again, one of the things that I mentioned in the other market recap video is we're seeing not only the index, but you can see in the stocks as well. A lot of their volume is starting to like slowly diminish as they go higher and higher. And those are, from my experience, especially when you see a lot of that in happening in like leading growth stocks, it's a sign that the buyers are slowly like, have done all their buying, and it's a risk now, right? There's more risk than reward trying to get into stocks like this because they're just too extended. And yeah, if they do sell off, like I mentioned in that market recap video, they could drop really fast. So that's the risk, right? Like the reward, maybe you can gain another 10%, or even 20%, or you might have one big day that goes up and then reverse and so forth. That's your climax run right there. So again, what's the upper channel line? Because leading growth stocks tend to top after the upper breaking the upper channel line on the rally here. Yeah, anyhow, strong stock. Again, who knows, right? When they come out with earnings on November 6th, maybe they're gonna blow out the numbers and raise guidance, and this stock could go again. Maybe it'll pull back a little bit before election, and then it can go again. So that's what I'm looking for, is opportunities where a stock like this could pull back. Right now we're looking at rank 46 here for app loading. FN, BMA, NCNO, HRO in the biotech world. Alcoa, Nvidia is right here. We did a analysis on that on the market recap video. Vital, this one is slowly coming back up. Food meat products. I have made money on this before, and it's a pretty good stock to look at. Let's go jump into it. So once again, you can see the green line right here. It's a very sharp, uh, you know, going up here. And you can see the numbers have been doing really well. And hence this run right here. This was the big run. And I remember very clearly, I missed most of this run. I think I got in around the halfway point. Um, yeah, it was a pretty insane run. Anyhow, it is slowing though. That's the only problem. When I look into future numbers, you see it's kind of slowing down here. So that's the only problem. And then it did have a big correction, but right now, like I said, it is coming back up. So we'll see how the numbers look like in 18 days here. TME, GTN, ACLX in biotech, USEP, steel, AL in financial investment management, TRGP. So I noticed some oil and gas has been coming back up on this list. Not a lot, but a few. So I haven't studied yet. So might be worth studying into it if oil, to go back up in price. It has slowly crept up to I think $75 now on the WTI. MRX, another financial service specialty. This is a very strong group as I mentioned earlier. So it's worth studying that too. AMPY, YMM, ML, Dell, BBW, KGS, VRT. So the we also mentioned about this in the market recap video. This group, not maybe not VRT, but like related stocks, they have gone down, like CEG and VST. I consider that the number one leading group, even more stronger than the chip group. Um, Especially in the last couple of months. And but those guys have started correct, and it could be related to the election, because depending who win, or what kind of policies could affect those. But in general, stocks do always correct before the election, so I wouldn't take too big of a big picture around that correction. I'm just waiting for it to rebound, and again, it may be a good setup right now. So those are stocks too. And VRT is still hanging on near the highs. Um, so it might be worth seeing how it holds up if there's a pullback. Then we have S in security, USO. Oh, that's just an ETF for oil. Then we have GitLab, Twilio. So there's some computer stuff here. For you, the security, RCL, VIST in oil and gas, ANF, MU, so there's computer, data storage, CSTL, EE, Sky. The airline, it didn't do too bad, especially after Delta report. Um, yeah, it might be worth watching that group too, because it seems like it's holding up uh, after Delta reporting. At first it dropped, but then it bounced back by Friday. So it might be a group to watch. Like it seems like the cruise line and the travel have some legs here. They're holding up better than pretty good here. Then we have PR, IBKR, and and another stock that have done well in that investment broker group. ALKT, Flex, XU, TMP, Card, Viking, VTS, Pi, ASGN, SYF, yeah. So I'm not gonna go through all this, but yeah, feel free to study them. This video is quite short because, like I said, it came out late on Sunday, and but I do want to still do it. Again, this is a time in the next few weeks as earnings come out and the election result. It will impact a lot of these stocks. And so, like I say, I'm very cautious right now into getting into new positions. If I do get into anything, it will be probably a smaller position just to test how the market behave. But yeah, and I'm looking for the next leaders in the next rally. And so thank you for watching this video, and have a good day and have a good week. Bye bye. And please don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you.